The JFK files have been released, and I'm not gonna lie, there's some suspect information in there that I think we should be paying attention to. Some people are claiming that most of this information was already known and this is a big nothing burger, but I beg to differ. For example, the average American had no idea that the CIA was requesting that all mentions of Israel be redacted from the JFK files. Now, if Israel was not involved in JFK's assassination in any way, form, or fashion, I'm not sure why it would be necessary to remove Israel's name from literally all of the files. We also know that for some reason, there was only one man who acted as liaison between the US intelligence community and Israel. And that man is James Angleton. And if you look at that date, he was part of the CIA from 1954 to 1975. This means two things. He was there before JFK got elected, and he was also there after JFK was assassinated. The second thing is that Israel, despite only being created in 1948, had so much power and influence that they had a personal liaison within the US government and were responsible for running covert operations on behalf of the US government. It also was Allen Dulles, not Dwight D. Eisenhower, the president, who put Angleton in charge of this very specific correspondence between Israel and Angleton. And Angleton had so much power and control over this information that he was able to even pick and choose just how much information got to the FBI regarding Israel's involvement in US intelligence operations. In other words, whether it be the Bay of Pigs, other covert operations in Latin America, or even false flags within the country, if Israel was involved, it would only be up to Angleton between 1954 and 1975 to decide whether or not the people knew about their involvement, which might explain why the CIA was so adamant about requesting Israel's name be redacted from the JFK files. So whether it be the assassination of JFK, the assassination of RFK, the assassination of MLK, Malcolm X, I mean, the list goes on, not only domestically, but internationally. If Israel was involved, only Angleton would know. And only Angleton could choose whether or not we knew. Now, ladies and gentlemen, these are the JFK files. So if Cuba and Fidel Castro was brought up a lot, wouldn't be a surprise. If Russia was brought up a lot, wouldn't be a surprise. Chile, even the CIA itself, Lee Harvey Oswald, there's a lot of names that could have been brought up and no one would bat an eye. But in 1954, 6 years after the creation of Israel, for some reason, they're mentioned in the JFK papers damn near more than JFK himself. And roughly 12 years later, they could have been involved in the assassination of the very president who directly called out the CIA, who Angleton was working for, and said that them and their shadow government would not run the world. How could they accrue so much power in so little time? Unless maybe Zionists were already running the show long before Israel officially became a state. And that's probably despite all of the debate and all of the people who didn't want Israel to become a state. That's how they were able to become a state anyway. And no, unfortunately, we cannot say if Israel was directly involved in JFK's assassination. What we can say for certain is that at least, I don't know, everybody has suspected the US government and the intelligence community was involved, and they were aware of Angleton's involvement with Israel and that he controlled the dissemination and flow of information about the operations Israel was involved in. And that entire time, no one put their foot on his neck to figure out if Israel was involved. And we have enough information and knowledge about how Israel operates at this point to know that it's at least a possibility that these people are psychopaths who killed one of our most popular presidents because he challenged the intelligence community. And yet, we are funding the genocide that just killed 400 civilians yesterday. We know that Israel is directly responsible for Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein. And yet we still continue to fund their genocide and call them an ally. I mean, we even know that pedophiles and sexual predators literally run to Israel to get immunity. They have more pedophiles per capita than any other country in the world. And yet we still call them an ally and fund their genocide. So the biggest takeaway from the JFK files is that we're only starting to scratch the surface of just how corrupt Israel is, and that if they've acted against the interests of the United States, we're not even allowed to know about it. Which begs the question, was Israel working for Angleton or was Angleton working for Israel?